Sporty greetings to all our Basketball Africa League fans. I'm Mwamoyo Hamza. Hoops, that name, by the way, only when I'm talking basketball. Coming to you from Washington, D.C., our VOA headquarters. Welcome to this VOA podcast on the Africa Basketball League, which tips off in Kigali, Rwanda, this coming Saturday. Joining me here in the studio is super producer Muqbil Yabarow.
Absolutely. Sporty greetings to all our fans. Hamza, it's a pleasure.
And joining us a little later from Kigali, Rwanda, on the scene are our colleagues Sonny Young of the Sonny Side of Sports and Eddie Rwema. Be prepared to listen to what they have gathered for us. Now, this Saturday, the Basketball Africa League playoffs will tip off at the Kigali Arena with 8 teams playing for BAL Season 2 Championship. Petro di Luanda of Angola will face AS Saleh of Morocco, and host Rwanda Energy will play FAP of Cameroon. Sunday, US Monastery, who are the finalists of last season of Tunisia, will be playing Cape Town of South Africa, while defending champion Zamalek of Egypt will be playing Slack of Guinea. The winners will meet in the semifinals on Wednesday, May 25th. Third place game is on Friday, the 27th, and the championship game to determine Season 2 BAL champion will be on Saturday, May 28th. How did we get here? The match began way back in March 5 with 6 teams battling for the Sahara Conference in Dakar, Senegal, where 4 teams made it out of the conference into the playoffs. Next was the Nile Conference in Cairo, Egypt. Another 6 teams battled for the 4 positions into the playoffs. And here we are today. Now, first let's go to our colleagues in Kigali, Sonny and Eddie. Describe for us what's the atmosphere, what's the energy at the Kigali Arena and the city of Kigali itself as BAL Season 2 playoff is about to tip off on Saturday.
Sporty greetings to Mr. Mwamoyo and to Muqbil in Washington, D.C. As you just mentioned, we are getting closer to the end of Season 2 of the Basketball Africa League with quarterfinals, semifinals, and the championship taking place here in Kigali at the Kigali Arena. So far, what we've seen, Hamza, is that there is a buzz in this city of Kigali, a city that is home to close to 600,000 people. A city that I would say is so much in love with the game of basketball. I would want to assure basketball fans across Africa who saw the games in Dakar and Cairo. Most of the arenas were empty, partly because of COVID-19. But we have news for them. The organizers are telling us that all the tickets are sold out. So it's going to be a big show here in Kigali, Hamza.
That's very nice. Muqbil, now let's talk a little bit about the teams that are in the finals. We have Zamalek, Monastir, some of the teams that are coming back into the playoffs. Who are the new kids on the block and what are their chances?
You know, I would definitely have to say I'm very interested to see how Rwanda Energy Group plays. You know, definitely seeing that they're going to have the crowd with them. They'll have the people, the arena. I'm sure Eddie and Sonny will be able to experience the electricity from it. You know, having the entirety of the last year's inaugural BAL season having been done in Kigali, going back there now for the playoffs, it's going to be unreal. So they performed super well in the Sahara Conference, only having lost 1 game with 4 wins. I definitely think they are in the front running to be able to bring the entirety of the to get a championship for Rwanda. I would also say, you know, Zamalek, having not lost 5-0,
5-0.
You know, in the Nile Conference, they really didn't get tested. So we're going to see if US Monastir is going to be able to give them a bit of a challenge. Now, here's something that I want to swing over as well. Of the 12 BAL teams, they've combined for about 19 players who've previously participated in Basketball Without Borders, the NBA and FIBA's Global Basketball Developmental and Community Outreach Program for top prospects from across the continent that has been seen for about 10 former campers that have been drafted into the NBA. Former Basketball Without Border Africa campers currently in the NBA include 5-time All-Star Joel Embiid and co-runner-up for the possible MVP. I don't know if Africans feel like he may have got snubbed a little bit. and Pascal Siakam from the Toronto Raptors. So this is towards Sonny. Sonny, didn't you have a past experience with a Basketball Without Borders?
Yeah, in fact, it's great to be.
Eddie, I think Sonny might have cut off. I think we'll try to get them back on. But I do believe that Sonny has had past experiences with having been an avid basketball fan for all these years.
Hey, Muqbil, can you hear me now?
Yes. So
Yes.
we got Sonny back on. So Sonny, yeah, as you were saying.
Yeah, we had a little technical issue there, but Basketball Without Borders in Africa. And at that time, the Basketball Africa League was, I think it was kind of in its early stages of formation. They were thinking about it and whether to launch it or not. And
All right. It seems as though we might be having some technical difficulties.
Yeah, but speaking on the same thought that. Speaking on the same thought that you were asking Sonny, this is a good movement that started very early on with with clinics, basketball clinics,
Right.
but now it's maturing into a full-fledged Africa Basketball League, which, the most important thing we have to consider here is the fact that it's giving young Africans, another opportunity for another, high-skilled type of game that they can show their talents worldwide. As you know, I mean, everybody in Africa will tell you soccer is the king.
Right.
But there are more young people in Africa. And, the more basketball grows,
Yes.
the more opportunities for young people to be able to have yet another sport they can show off their talent.
Absolutely, I definitely agree with you. I think having the main sport only be soccer or football, as is known internationally, is really unfair to the youth. They should be given the ability to be able to hone their skills on a sport if they like to do so. If you're about 6'5" or 6'6", it's not natural for you to want to play a game like football. You might be a little bit awkward, So you might want to just go ahead and dunk the ball and play basketball. So I definitely see that this league can be something that can potentially rival, if it's cultivated the right way, with a FIBA league or something along those lines, where players that are homegrown, that stay on the continent, don't have to go outside of the continent to go play elsewhere to be able to get scouted to then be able to go to the league. So I think this is just the beginning of what this NBA BAL can definitely do.
And the fundamentals of this league is, as you just said, is the partnership between FIBA, NBA. So that gives it, credence.
Yes.
It gives it,
That level of authenticity, right?
Authenticity for young people to participate, and that's why this partnership is mushrooming right now. In terms of communications, ourselves, VOA, and some other TV, groups, ESPN, NBA TV, they're all showing these games.
Yeah.
So it's out there, and it's getting out there. By the time we get into maybe season 3, season 4, this will be a big league, on the continent.
Oh, I definitely agree. Sonny.
Yes, Sonny is listening.
Yeah, so as we were saying earlier, we were talking about basketball without borders, having gone over it. As we mentioned, Sonny has had some past experiences with that, having seen the foundation, and as Hamza mentioned also with the clinics and all these other things. It's beautiful to see that they had multiple players under the ages of 18 that were like developmental players that they threw in on each team to showcase how young we can potentially cultivate these players on the continent. And a lot of them were starting to get some time, maybe, minutes towards the end of games that were already won. But nonetheless, they were starting to get there. You're getting in, you're playing with professionals. So it was definitely nice to see.
There was a 15-year-old who played for the South Sudan team in the Nile Conference.
He's also 7 foot. So you know what they say, you can't teach height. So, Sonny, what were your thoughts about the developmental players?
Well, in fact, Muqbil, on our way over here to Kigali, Eddie and I actually were on the same flight as a couple of Ball Academy players. And they are basically being groomed to play on the Basketball Africa League teams. And there were also a couple of members from SWAC, the team from Guinea. And, I think as I look at the 8 teams coming up in the playoffs, SWAC might be the underdog. They have to go up against Zamalek, the defending Basketball Africa League champion, on Sunday. Your thoughts, Eddie?
Well, Sonny, like you said, and Muqbil hinted on it, talking about the advantage that the Rwandan Energy Group, which is going to be the home team, is having playing in front of the crowd. I would also add that Rwanda Energy Group, as you all know, has also contracted the services of Kenny Gasana. You remember Kenny Gasana last year? He played with the Patriots. He didn't play for in the preliminaries of in the conferences. So this time, Reg has acquired his services, and I believe he's going to be a major player who probably would propel Reg with the crowd to probably get a chance of the championship. And also, not forgetting that the captain, not the captain, but one of the most prolific players of this team, who is Thomas Jr., he just told BAL podcast that they don't want this trophy to leave Kigali.
Yeah, Eddie. Before we go too far, can you talk about the influence of the NBA in this BA league? For instance, there are 3 former NBA players: James Artis of Cape Town Tigers, who last played for Orlando Magic; Ike Diogu of Zamalek, he last played for San Antonio Spurs; and DJ Strawberry of Zamalek also, who played for the Phoenix Suns. So these are, former NBA players. They're in this playoff. It's a big showcase tournament. What is that influence of NBA bringing into the BL playoff championship?
I think it's a very big influence, given the fact that these people have played in one of the most strongest tournaments ever in the world when it comes to the game of basketball. But at the same time, it also appeals and is somehow gives that positive energy to young African players. They have some people to look forward to. They want to play like them. They want to get to the level where they played. And not only the players, but we also know that, for example, the coach of Red Rwanda, John Park, he played for 3 teams in the NBA. He's right now coaching Red. And when you speak to the players, they say there's so much intellect. There's so much experience that they get from these players. And the other thing is that it inspires the crowd as well to come see these people who have made it at the top level playing.
No, I definitely agree with you, Eddie. I think, to me, one of the more interesting things of the storylines is also players that have maybe played in other places, maybe necessarily not have made it to that NBA level, and they may have wanted to go to that level, but now have almost like a second wind, and they're able to play on these teams up against players who have played on that level. Good example is AS Sally's Terry Stoglin, who is the leading scorer of the BAL 2022, the second season. He is averaging 33.2 points per game. The man who wears number 41 also set a single new game BAL scoring record of 41 points in a 96 to 90 loss against US Monastir during the Sahara Conference group phase. He also just broke his own record of 40 points that he set in the 2021 BAL group phase. So you got a guy like Stoglin, who is really, really going for blood if we really look at it, right? Right? Because the man, like he has a he's a very offensive-minded player. He's willing to take. No shot is too big for him, but he fits very well within that AS Sally team. That's what they need from him.
And what is exciting is that this player is coached by a woman coach.
Actually, Eddie, that was my segue into the next, talking points. We're talking about players, but we should also talk about, coaches.
Absolutely.
As you said, ASL head coach Liz Mills, she's from Australia. She became the first woman to coach BAL team during the Sahara Conference, and now she's in the finals. That's a different kind of influence. That young women will be watching her, knowing that not only they can play the game, but they can also lead teams to success. As we speak, there are so many young African women who are playing the WNBA here in the United States. So this also gives a window for young African women into what could happen, what they could do in the field of basketball if they so wish to do so.
That's an excellent point about Liz Mills and the influence of the women in the tournament. Liz Mills has extensive coaching experience in Africa. She coached the Kenyan men's team before taking over AS Same of Morocco. But the other point, Hamza, is about how the ball is using female referees during this tournament. Not just one or two. I think they have a handful of female referees that have been officiating the games. They're also, I think, a big motivator for these young African girls about what is possible. And I think it lends itself to question of whether there might be a women's basketball Africa League down the road. What do you think, Eddie?
I think this is a topic we discussed during our first series of podcasts when we had one of the BAL gentlemen, and we asked him whether they are thinking of probably starting a BAL for women, and he said this is work in progress.
So there you have it. We could really well see a women's basketball Africa League down the road. And I like the fact that it is sort of giving young girls in Africa, an option about what can be done with hard work. Even in football, just today, I think this Rwandan referee, Salima Muqbil, was named one of the referees for the Men's World Cup in Qatar. Another great example of what women are doing in sports.
Yes, that announcement came this morning that FIFA has, I think, 3 female referees in the World Cup coming up in Qatar, and Salima Munkasanga, who hails from Rwanda, will be one of them, and she also officiated in the AFCON tournament. Let's talk about the quality of play that we expect in this playoff tournament. Of course, we know all these 8 teams. They did well in their conferences. Now they are meeting for the playoffs. win or go home. Zamalek.
That's another great point. Hamza, that the stakes are as high as they've ever been. During the first two phases in Senegal and Egypt, each team played 5 games. This time around, they got to perform. They get one shot. If they're not ready, they go home.
Yeah.
The other interesting factor, Hamza, is that one of the talking town is that it's going to be good to see US Monastir and Zamalek canceling each other out when they both get into the semi-finals. So you won't be able to see the two African giants meeting in the finals. So that's also opening another window for these other clubs like Reg of Rwanda, Petro de Rwanda to be able to probably get into the final.
Right.
Now imagine, Muqbil, the championship game is between Zamalek and Reg of Rwanda. How?
Man,
what would happen in Kigali?
I'm telling you, it would be so exciting that I don't even think we'd be able to get any play-by-plays from anybody. We wouldn't be able to hear anything. The entire arena would be going crazy. But to me, the most interesting thing is the fact that this is a knockout phase, right? To me, I feel as though the teams that are playing with higher pressure are the teams that people expect to win, right? So if you're somebody that's coming in, maybe like a Slack that's going up against Zamalek, knowing that you really just have to give it your all for one game, and Zamalek has all that pressure because they are the defending champs, they've yet to lose this game. If they don't play a near perfect game, they really could slip. So I'm very interested in watching all of the games, but more so the games where certain teams may be overlooked. So Rwanda Energy Group, Reg, has to be very careful of FAP because FAP really has nothing to lose. So they're going to come out gunning. And I think Zamalek has to be very careful about Slack as well. The other teams might be a little bit more closely matched, two second seeds going up against third seeds. So, and I'm very interested to see what's going to happen.
And I mean,
yeah. One quick matchup in that Slack-Zamalek game, which is pretty interesting.
Yeah.
You got Obekza, the big Nigerian for Slack.
Right.
Going up against another big Nigerian player, Diago of Zamalek.
Right.
And they know each other very well because they played on the Nigerian team together.
Right.
But Obekza, he played at St. John's, and I think he might be leading this ball tournament in block shot.
Yeah, no, he definitely has been very enforceful, to say the least bit. But, it's always like, I love that point, Sonny, because it's always great to see players that have had past experiences together. So what that usually does is, he can give insight to his team as to how this player plays. And if you're able to, somehow, I can't really say stop greater players, but if you can kind of minimize his effectiveness and force other players around him to be able to make the bigger shots and kind of, make it more difficult for him, it's going to be a long game.
I mean, we mentioned Zamalek. Of course, they have an advantage as defending champions. Right. They did so well. They did better than any other team during the conferences. But hey, it's a one-shot game.
It's one game.
It's one game. So anything can happen. Right. And all these teams, they do realize that. Yeah. I want to plug something about the BAL before we get off this. So 400 million this season. BAL has registered more than 400 million fan engagements through its online platforms.
Wow.
Including 66 million influencer engagements, 22 million video views, 12 million social media engagements, and 4 million visits to the official BAL website, nba.com/BAL. Now, this is a league that's gaining influence, popularity.
No, absolutely.
That is very true, Hamza, and it also the more they raise, the more they fundraise. That also brings a lot of pressure for them to perform, for people to want to see a lot of results, especially when it comes to developing the game through the youth, through clubs on the continent. So it's a good thing that they're doing, but it's also a pressure on them, and people should be expecting much more to see this game developing on the continent.
Right. No, Eddie, that's a great point. But I feel like, if there was ever a time for development on the continent, with the resources that they have, with the partnerships with the NBA and with FIBA, I think this is a great time to cultivate and push the needle forward. I think with the talent that we've been able to see that is being imported and the talent that's on the continent already, it has been a phenomenal second season of this amazing league, and I'm really, really excited to watch what happens in the playoffs.
Yes, the sky is the limit.
Talking about those influencers, Hamza, don't forget former President Barack Obama is also one of them.
Yes, absolutely. And some, you remember last year with J. Cole just simply showing, just having played on the Rwandan side last year, Steph Curry also shouted it out on a live, and that really got a lot of people watching it just last year. So I can only imagine where it's at this year.
And Eddie, since you are in,
NBA fans will probably want to check out the ball, you know?
Yeah.
Now, Eddie and Sonny, since you are in Kigali, can you give us some of the big names that are in Kigali to watch the games? Who are already there or who are expected to come to Kigali to watch the playoff tournament?
Well, I'll name one who should be here, Dikembe Mutombo. Mm-hmm. He's been at both the earlier phases in Senegal and Egypt, and I know Eddie has a few.
Yeah, other sources that from within the Basketball Africa League are also telling us that the general manager of Toronto Raptors, Masai Ujiri, who is the founder of the Giants of Africa, which is another initiative that is aimed at promoting the game of basketball on the African continent, is also going to be here. We are also hearing that there is a possibility that Adam Silver, the commissioner of NBA, is also likely to be here. And the other, of course, local fan is going to be President Kagame of Rwanda, who is always at the basketball games every time they're there.
Yeah, and Eddie, talk a little bit. I mean, we saw the arena last season because it was in the bubble. Talk a little bit of how it looks. It's an amazing stadium. Tell us more about it and what they have done to prepare for this season 2 tournament.
It's a very beautiful arena. I think second after the one in Dakar. The inside is so beautiful. Today we went there to try to get our accreditation, and one thing that Sonny said after just seeing the inside of it is like, "How this thing is so clean."
Well, Kigali is known as the cleanest city in Africa. Anyways.
There we go.
No,
Sonny's gonna see a lot of firsts in Kigali.
and I would say, Sonny, I would say this: we're talking about the influence this league is bringing, and the big stars bringing big stars out. The fact that the VOA partners with BAL, they flew the most popular sportscaster in the VOA, Sonny Young of Sonny Side of Sports, all the way to Kigali, and Eddie Rwema. That speaks a lot about this league.
Absolutely.
No, I think BOA has been a good partner in these early stages of the ball, Mwamoyo, and I hope that the partnership continues between the Voice of America and the Basketball Africa League and the NBA. And I think, more good things to come.
Thank you. Muqbil, last words.
No, absolutely. I think I'm super excited that the games are happening. Now that we have two of our most legendary sports commentators on the ground as well, for us to be able to get insight from them and then be able to have some of the guests that'll be there, potentially be on some of our calls, it's going to be a fun time. So definitely can't wait. Hamza, definitely it was amazing to have you. This is Muqbil Yabarow from Washington, D.C.
And this is Mwamoyo Hoops. Hamza, thank you for watching this podcast of BAL playoff tournament going on in Kigali, Rwanda. We will keep on bringing you the games, the results, and all the fanfare that goes with the tournament. Thank you so much from Washington, D.C.